It's E.B.K, E.B.K, E.B.K. It's E.B.K every day, all day to the day I die. All day it's E.B.K, E.B.K, E.B.K.
What's good, gente? Ya saben, as you guys can see on the thumbnail and on the title, man, this one's gonna be an interesting topic, especially, my circumstances and stuff like that. But we're gonna be speaking on pretty much the day I almost got a dropout out there in the calles. When pretty much I was young, I was involved in the whole on the little hunt, when it came to these dropouts. There wasn't that many, or if there wasn't that many that were out there. There was only a few that were actually out there, and I'm gonna be speaking on those occasions. And yeah, as you can see, man, on the thumbnail, one of the individuals happens to be one of the founders of the FOS, Family of Soldiers. And one of the reasons is because he happens to be someone that was really out there, when I was young, and a lot of people really wanted that fool's helmet, and they probably still do till this day, So with all that being said, and before I get started, make sure to hit them likes, subscribe, hit that follow, just to let me know that you're right here supporting the channel. And also, man, drop comments to let me know what you guys think at the end of the day. And especially if you know some of the individuals that I'm going to speak on, I'm not just going to stick with one. I'm also going to be speaking on one of the first writers that I had seen on the calles before I actually even knew what writers really were, and I'm going to actually bring up that little story where my boy Terco told me to pretty much give him a pass, and I ended up coming across this individual when I was incarcerated right there in the county, and he happened to be someone that was a writer, so it's gonna be interesting, man. So I know you guys like these stories, and especially when it comes to these pesetones, for some weird reason, man, when it comes to like them getting caught slipping and stuff like that, you guys like them. So I know you guys are gonna like this one, so make sure to hit a like for your boy. You guys already be knowing. So when I was young, and I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be a lot of you guys that can relate, we didn't really know too much about like dropouts or none of that. It was just like, oh, this fool bangs, and then we jam him up. But you start hearing, like, hey man, old boy, he fell off, he defected, or he ratted, and then you're just like, damn, man, that fool's no good. So you start catching wind that as you get older, people do fall off. And you start running into people in the streets. I know, like, for myself, I got to run into some people, man, and me personally, I didn't know who they were, and in Watsonville being a town that mostly everybody knows each other, especially when people are banging, you tend to know who they are, or someone done mentioned them before, you know what I'm saying? Or at least their names. But as time passed by, I started seeing some fools that were no good and defected. And I used to kick it with this little group of homeboys, man, that were all about that whole DOK, trying to do the whole cleanup. And it's not that they knew, like, and they were laced up on, hey, this individual's trash or none of that. They would just try to, like, stand out, when it came to the big homies. They wanted to be known as that youngster. I'll even include myself in that, right? We wanted to be known with the older homies, like, hey, this youngster's the one that is out here putting in work, and it's making the hood look good, So there was a couple of us, man, that were in that little trip, like on the whole doing the cleanup shit. And I did come across a couple of dropouts, like when I would go to school and stuff like that. But like I said, man, I wasn't really too aware of what they really were. I just knew that they were people that had defected from their hoods, and they weren't really liked when it came to the homeboys. They didn't like them no more for whatever reasons. And like the first ones that I can actually say that were known dropouts to be pushing around, because I was young, was the Gremlin brothers. They would just happen to be a little bit older than me, and they were to be some of the dropouts that were actually out there looking for homeboys to start shit and shit like that. And one of the reasons is because their pride, their pride was in their way, I guess, and they wanted to show the homeboys that they weren't scared. And one of them ended up losing his life, and I believe I made a video about that. But that was someone that, even though he was a DO or whatever, he was actually still trying to put in work, So we give him that. I'll still give him that little respect. But let me get to that other story, man. When I ended up seeing for the first time a Northern Rider, and this individual, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I was really close to allegedly, right, doing something bad to him. But luckily, for me, and himself, of course, we got lucky that didn't happen, because more than likely I wouldn't be here right now making this video. But I ended up coming across a Northern Rider, man, when I was out there functioning in the calles when the Mongol was, flapping in the air. Puro pedo. But to get back to the story, there was this individual named Popeye that happened to be from Clifford. He happened to be from Clifford. And he ended up walking right across the street from us, man, like nothing was happening. He ended up walking right across the street, and we could tell, like me personally, by this time I was able to tell that certain people, especially once they hit a certain age, they happen to be defected, no longer part of the group. And especially if it was someone that you didn't really know of, or you didn't see homeboys going across the street to shake their hand and shit, yeah, you knew that they were no good. So when this individual happened to be walking by, man, we had an allegedly, and I ended up telling the homeboy, like, hey, bro, especially because this homeboy happens to be a little bit older, he happened to be an older homie from the neighborhood. So I asked him, I was like, hey, fool, do you know this fool? And he happened to say, yeah, he's like, yeah, that's the homie from the hood. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's what's up. So I was like, in my head, I'm like, oh, then let's go greet this fool. And before I even said anything, because at this time I'm thinking it. Before I even say anything, the homie tells me, like, but he's a dropout. He's a Northern Rider. And at this time, I don't know what a Northern Rider is, bro. But I do know what a dropout is. And since he's an older homie, bro, I'm trying to like stand out. I'm trying to stand out from the rest that were there, which one of them happens to be my brother and a couple other homies from the hood that were there. So I tell the homie, hey, allegedly, right? I tell him, hey, do you want me to do something to this dude, right? Like, should I go? And he tells me chales. He's like, nah, homie, look, on this one, we're going to give him a pass. He's all like, just because I know this homie from the hood, and he never really did anything bad to the hood. He just got caught up in the whole political game. And he's like, nah, we're going to let him slide, to just enjoy the time, continue drinking the beer. And at that time, if you guys are wondering what we were drinking those Four Locos. And if it wasn't a Four Loco, it was a Mad Dog 2020, but that's just to let you guys know what we were drinking. But he pretty much told us to give him a pass, and I'm not even going to lie to you guys, bro. The way that I was before, like, I remind you, bro, I used to kick it with the homie Grande. That was someone that was like my best friend, He still is. He's just on that political trip right now. But once he goes through that, it's like I said, he's still my friend. And I used to kick it with people that used to set trip. I'll be quite honest. So I ended up like looking at old boy, like at the homeboys, like, man, I just want this fool to bounce. I wanted the homie Terco to leave, so that I was able to go do something to this dude. Because in all reality, man, in back of my head, something was itchy, like bothering me. Like, hey, fool, this fool's no good. He's over here walking like it is the thing to do. And like I said, man, he wasn't scared. That was one thing that I give it to him. Even when I ran into him in the county, I told him, like, hey, bro, that your days were counted that day, And he even told me straight up that allegedly he had something too. So it would have been either way. But there was more of us, so more than likely we would have came out winning on that one. But in all reality, man, I tripped out. Because in my head, man, I'm not even going to lie to you guys. I was willing to go hurt this dude. Just because he was part of a group that wasn't part of the same push, you know what I'm saying? And I trip out because nowadays, me myself, being part of that movement, that I was trying to push against, it's funny, I trip out, because that's how other individuals, even from my neighborhood or other neighborhoods, probably see me. And that's one of the reasons why I don't hold grudges or hard feelings, because let's be quite honest, man, and I know there's a few of you that tap in that damn well you done your own little things when it comes to your boy Conejo, you know what I'm saying? You guys haven't hold back. But it is what it is, bro, and I don't hold no hard feelings, because once upon a time I used to think like that. But old boy did get away that day, especially because the homie Terco didn't push off. And I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, I still continue to try to hunt old boy down, even though I didn't run into him until I went into the county. That was probably one of the reasons why I didn't run into him. He was already locked up. But I did end up finding out that he was staying right there on Hill Street. And I was actually trying to go out of my way, to be quite honest, you know. And it's a trip, man, because now, because how I used to think, I know there's others that think just the same. So I'm like, I'm always got to be on my toes. But let me get to one of the actual DOs that kind of did get caught slipping, you know, and it was someone that would always, especially my neighborhood, because there was a lot of movement in those streets where he used to post up. You know, he used to post up right there on Lulu's. And on, you know what I mean, right there on Lulu's happens to have a lot of homeboys. Let's just be quite honest, from different neighborhoods, from Green Valley to WVNers to CMLers, you know, because there's a lot of CMLers that do live in those areas as well, or at least they did when in my generation, you know. So this individual that I'm gonna speak on happens to have his own dropout gang, you know, that he did create in prison, but brought it to the calles, and it's called Family of Soldiers, which most of the members that are involved in that gang, I guess, it's mostly his family members and a few that are close to him. You know, they happen to get the little FOS, and then they might have a little time bomb tatted on him, because that is his signature tattoo. If he happens to be the one that tattoos on him. This was a person that, in all reality, a lot of the homeboys, man, anytime we would see him, and he was well known for having Watson tatted on its neck, you know. And I know you guys, there's gonna be some people like, man, well, what made him a big target like that? Was it the fact that he created his own little group? No, the fact that he was known to be a dropout that will still post up like he was active, you know, and that's something that a lot of active homeboys don't like or like to tolerate, you know, that once they see that someone's like out there, because this is the same thing that happened to me, man. When I first got out, man, I was just everywhere. I was posted up in the hood, and I didn't care, you know, because I felt comfortable and I felt safe that I didn't do no one dirty, and it was good, you know. But they couldn't stand that shit, so that's when some things ended up happening, allegedly. But I won't speak on that. Well, that's what ended up happening with this individual, man. He was posting up in front of his pad, or just in front of a spot that was known to have a lot of homeboys passing by. And when they would jam him up, he wasn't someone that would back down. I'll be quite honest, man. This was someone that would run those fades. You know, he did get deemed for pretty much bad calls and stuff like that. So he was involved in that little political game. He did try to tell us that he was a carnal at one point, but there was hermanos that we had in our neighborhood that never were able to stamp that. You feel me? And if anyone would have known, I know like Pelon, Lucifer, Dope Boy, there was a few individuals that were clicked up that were able to tell us if he was involved in that lifestyle. But there was never stamped. But he caught wind that he was removed for doing bad calls. Apparently, he did hold some type of status when it came to the whole political game. But like I said, I never really got my whole history check when it came to this individual. You know, he is out here right now. He's still out here doing this thing, and yeah, it's someone that maybe people done forgot about nowadays, because a lot of the people that were probably pushing the agenda either got locked up and got all day, or they pretty much dropped out themselves, you know. So that's why a lot of people done forgot about this individual. But this was someone that was actually real known and back in my days, you know. Maybe nowadays it's probably me. That's probably the one that they're looking for. Hey, hopefully it's not, but that's probably what it is, because my generation happens to be the big homie right now. So with all that being said, man, the message out of this video was pretty much, think about what you do, man, before you do it, especially because you never know if you're gonna be in those shoes eventually. Think about it like me, man. I was over there with someone that was actually hunting these fools down, and fuck, look at it now. You know what I'm saying? Now I gotta be on my toes, making sure that these little youngsters don't hunt me down. So with all that being said, gente, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit a like for your boy. Make sure to subscribe, hit that follow, hit that notification. Drop comments to let me know what you guys think. And remember, man, I make these videos for you guys, so make sure to drop a comment to let me know what you guys want to watch or hear. So with all that being said, man, you guys already been knowing, this is your boy Conejo, and we out. I'll see you guys on the next one.